Fish shining bright in Texas sky tonight. Aluminum work of art, power and side of sight. Reserve specific, hit in Max 6 with right and left 22 in flight. Leaving trails of light. You see your sugar unrivaled grace in the fray. Our masterpiece in motion, leading the way.
All right, guys, we are back with the one and only ASUGA XLR. This thing is super badass buggy, man. I've been singing the praises of this thing for a long time, and so we're gonna bring it back out because obviously we've got the big ramp now. So haven't really made any changes other than the fact that I put a new bulkhead in the rear because I had some bolts break off, so I wasn't able to extract those bolts. So now we have got Team Corrali bulkheads in the back. So that's about it. Let's go ahead and send it, see what she's got. Ooh, let's stop it right there. I'm gonna walk right up. Orange flag is 100. Another orange flag is 125. Next orange flag is 150. This orange flag is 175. And the car is here. So here, 175. We probably rolled at least that much. So I'd say we landed right at the 175 mark. There we go. Ooh, ooh, come on. Oh, turtle. Woo. Ooh, that got a little wild on me. Woo. Wow. Bro, this perspective is the best. Let's see what I can get away with this ASUGA, man. Oh, I can't go up. I had to get out of my own way. I barely landed that. Ooh, I landed on the flat side without meaning to. Nice. Ooh, I could smell the burnt paint. Nice. Woo, that was so perfect, the landing. I forgot how much I love this buggy, man. That's why I brought it back out. Oh, I hit the puddle of water. I knew it, dude. Did it not break? Nope, didn't break. That's the ASUGA, bro. ASUGA has always been one of my most durable freaking buggies, dude. Nice. Yeah, I'm a pro surgeon, RC surgeon at this point. Woo. Ooh, that was weird, dude. It flew like it was trying to do a McTwist, bro. Nice. Ooh, caught an edge. Oh, 2 turtles in a row. Nice. Woo. Nice. Oh, let's go. Come on. Land on your feet, boy. Oh, that would be my fault. Driver error. I know, I didn't have that when I was a kid. I'll tell you that much. I can guarantee you that. Oh! Oh my God! No way, dude! Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, I guess it's better than it breaking. It got stuck on the wing.
That's actually cool.
That was cool. I didn't mean to do it, but it was cool. Nice. Hey, it made it past. No, that was one. Yeah. 125, 50, 75. Yeah. It's in between. Battery's going dead too, so. Nice. Woo. Woo. Wow. No, I knew I was trying to turn it, dude. Ooh, that was a bad landing. I mean, it was a good landing, but it was, I don't know, this thing today, for some reason, it's wanting to like fly sideways. Gotta watch out, buddy. I definitely don't want the car to run into you. It is very, very heavy.
Okay.
Go ahead and stand over there, yeah. Oh, that was not a good landing. It's the traction, I'm telling you. Remember I was telling you before, like the tires don't grip well, so it's like you try to get on the throttle and it just wants to go out sideways. Oh. Oh, I had it going. I'm watching. Nice. Woo. Bro, it feels so good when you can land this thing perfectly flat like that. Nice. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, that was another good one, dude. Ooh, that was close. It got sideways on me and I had to freaking hit that brake at the last minute to try to flatten out as much as I could. Want to jump some more. Woo! Barely made that. Well, that's a battery's worth. Oh, I ran out of battery. Oh, shoot. That's it. That's all she got. All right, guys, well, we're back at the shop with the ASUGA. And I guess I'll start off this outro by just talking about what's on the car. Because I think to those who know the ASUGA platform can see a lot of things that aren't stock. So first things first, the chassis. This is an ADU chassis that does get rid of the side skirts. The plastic side skirts makes it all one big piece. This chassis, when I originally bought it a year ago, was $160. Now it is $300 plus. I don't exactly know what's going on there with that. I'd imagine it has something to do with the whole tariff situation. But it used to be a very great option, a not very expensive option, but now it is definitely not an inexpensive option. So unfortunately, this thing here, when I looked on AliExpress under the ADU section, it is now a $300 chassis, which really sucks, because this chassis to me was a great solution. Because what this chassis actually does, it's not obvious at first glance, but what this chassis does is that it moves everything around to more of a traditional layout like you would see on an Arma. So originally the TC setup, or the Team Corrali setup, has the receiver box and servo as like one unit on this side of the chassis, whereas in this moves the receiver box over to the other side of the chassis, which you double side tape, and then puts the servo over here like it would be kind of like on an Arma Typhon, and then moves the ESC up here instead of like back here. So it moves everything around to a more Arma-like layout. So, and I liked that about it, because it allowed me to, you know, put things, it kind of gives more space to put what you want wherever you want to put it. So the chassis was, to me, a really great option, changes things up a little bit, but unfortunately it is now a very expensive option. Also, I'm not running there's a brace that goes from this tower to chassis brace to this tower to chassis brace that kind of arcs over the top of the center diff. I don't have that mounted, because I realized on the last time I bashed this thing that I don't need it. I don't ever run that now, and I have no issues with the chassis itself. What I do have an issue with is this rear brace, where it connects to this tower to chassis brace. It keeps breaking these bolts off. So, and I honestly think that's not the fault of the chassis or the car, because the chassis is not bent. There's nothing. I just don't think I'm giving this setup enough room to flex, especially at the rear. So I'm not sure, because if I put a plastic one of these things here, it'll end up breaking that. So I know that the rear of this chassis is flexing. I don't think that's going to be solvable by any chassis I get. I think that's just the nature of the extreme bashing that I do. So I basically just deal with it. I deal with, you know, it breaking the bolts off. Maybe I'll put a bigger bolt, you know, drill it out and just nut and bolt it there. I'm not sure, but not really a big deal. If you have a stock ASUGA, you probably won't have to worry about that much. Although if you have a stock ASUGA, it'll probably bend this brace that goes from here to here, or from the front tower to chassis to the rear tower to chassis. So anyway, went on a tangent there, but basically the rundown of the car is that ADU chassis. I've got Eric Van Ravenstein front and rear shock towers. Again, I've talked about this guy before. He makes really precise and good looking titanium and aluminum parts for the TC cars. He does not have an online store, so you can't just go online and look up Eric Van Ravenstein. He's only, as far as I know, on Facebook. So if you look up Eric Van Ravenstein, I'll probably put it on the screen here so that you can know how it's spelled. And then you go on Facebook and search his name, you'll find him. And then you just, you know, message him for what you want. He'll give you a quote. So towers, front and rear, and then the A, B, C, and D blocks, or the hinge pin blocks, are Eric Van Ravenstein. Really nice pieces. The way that they're machined and everything, the fit and finish is all pretty, I would say it's better than almost everything else out there. My only knock is that he does not have an online store. So it's a little inconvenient to get parts from him, but the parts are like as if they're one-off versus a mass-produced part. So the parts are very nicely done. And then the Front bulkhead's ADU, and the rear is Team Corrali's aluminum option for the bulkhead. I did the rear one in Team Corrali because I had some bolts break off on the bulkhead, the original ADU one, and I can't extract those. So I just went ahead and got the TC ones just because I don't really have that many of them, and I wanted to just try them out really is what I wanted. I have another TC aluminum bulkhead for the front so I can match them when I get around to that. Then ADU is not only the chassis, but it's all the bracing. So this top plate here, this tower to chassis brace, this tower to chassis brace, this rear tower brace, and the chassis itself is all ADU. The towers are Eric Van Ravenstein, but the center diff mount / motor mount is also Eric Van Ravenstein. And it's cool because he machines this gear cover onto this center diff mount. It's a really nice piece, man. And then other than that, it's got ARMA shocks. So this thing, the first time I bashed this thing was a year ago when it was mostly stock. And even a year ago when I first bashed this thing, the first thing I did was put ARMA Creighton shocks on it. Now the front ones don't match because I don't remember what happened to this one. Maybe I broke a shock rod in or something like that. I can't remember now. But basically, you know, these front shocks and rear shocks are off of a Creighton. You can get one off of the new V6 or the old EXB version 2. They'll all fit. Even if you found some spare or get some spare ARMA Creighton shocks that are non-EXB, they'll fit. And the reason I did that is because the stock shocks off of the ASUGA, the shock rod itself is thinner, and the shock action itself is not, to me, is not as good. So if you get an ARMA shock, right, and you get the emulsion style shock caps, and then you put the M2C ZRS kit in those shocks, you basically have the ultimate shock, in my opinion. You have the best case scenario for a shock you can possibly have, because you have a thicker shock shaft, which mitigates some of the shock's ability to bend the shock shaft, and then you have the best shock action you can possibly get with the ZRS kit along with the ARMA shock. Does that mean the TC shocks suck? No, they don't. They're fine. Probably for 99% of what's out there and what guys are doing with these cars, it's probably plenty. But I need the best performing shock I can possibly get, and putting the ARMA shocks and the ZRS kit in that ARMA shock gives me, you know, what I need. It gives me the action I need. It gives me the reliability that I need. And then, of course, the electronics. I have a 35 kg servo in here, but this is just an Amazon thing. Nothing special about that. Although it has done well. Hasn't, you know, I took it to the skate park and didn't fail on me or anything like that. So that's a good thing. Then we have the Hobbywing Max 6 G2 with a 1650 kV motor. The gearing, I believe, is, oh my god, this is, I think, just an 18 tooth maybe. Could be a 20 tooth. I'm not 100%. But yeah, Hobbywing 1650 kV motor with the G2 system, Max 6 ESC from Hobbywing. To me, perfect combination for this car, man. Just like the Creighton, just like the Outcast, just like a lot of these 8th scale bashers, man. To me, this motor combo is what these things should come with out of the box, because they are so, it's like more than the car needs, so you can run it kind of a milder setup, and the system doesn't get that hot. The stock motor on this with a 17 tooth pinion, I actually melted the leads off of one of these. So that's not to say that the stock motor and ESC setup isn't enough. It's just not enough for what I do. Because I remember putting a 17 tooth pinion in it, and you know, after a couple of times, those motor leads were getting so hot, and the motor was getting so hot that essentially it was just too hot. You're trying to push way too much gearing out of that motor and ESC. So it's just it's good enough for sure, but just not enough for what I'm doing. And then what else do we have? I think that's about it. We're running the Skeeters, which, you know, you guys have seen. I've run a lot of my cars. I love these Skeeters. I do recommend adding a little bit of glue before the first time you use them, because they don't glue the edge of the tire all the way inside. They'll glue just the outside. But every tire manufacturer I've seen does that. I don't know why they do that, but it would hold up a lot better if you just put glue all the way on the inside lip of that tire. So what else? I do want to talk about the car itself in the sense that I've seen guys complain about these upper arms breaking off, and as you saw at the end of the video, near the end of the video, one of the arms does come off. Now, what's funny is that it'll split at the seam where the plastic is cast, but you could take the bolt out, put the bolt back through it, and you can still jump it and bash it. I've jumped this thing many times with a broken arm, where I've just taken the bolt out and put it back in through the arm, and it'll just keep jumping and it'll keep bashing. So I would agree with some of the people's criticism about these upper arms on the ASUGAs, but I would disagree in the sense that if this was an ARMA, once that arm is broken, it's broken. That's it. You know, I would argue that yes, it is sort of a flaw, but I would argue that at the very least, you can undo the bolt, put the bolt back through, and keep going. And you could just do that for as long as it'll take it. Yeah, you'll know that if you have a bad landing, it's gonna come off. It's gonna probably pop off again. But you can get away with a lot with the arm literally in a state of being broken. So, you know, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing ever. Speaking of that, I kind of forgot to point out, I do have ARMA toe links on the front that I believe are off of the Mojave. And I needed that because I like to run my toe in a little bit on my cars. So this has out of the box, no adjustability. But I also wanted to talk about this Buggy. I've had it for a year, and it's literally the most reliable Buggy I have, bar none. I would have to spend hours combing through all of my footage to show you all the times I shaved the ramp on this car. And trust me, there is plenty of them. If you go back a year to some of my original videos on this car, you'll see that I shaved the ramp several times. I land nose, like corner first, like front corner first, several times, and nothing breaks on the car. I mean, I became a fan of this car because I was so used to certain things breaking on, for example, on ARMA cars, that when I realized there was so much less things that were breaking on this car, it became one of my favorites. Because I'm like, man, I could just take this thing out and know that if I just make one mistake, I don't have to pay for it every single time. You know, and then another thing I wanted to point out with this car, and honestly with a lot of TC cars, man, a lot of Team Corrali cars, you know, they get some of the criticism for some of the things that, and I've even criticized my last Kagama video, I had an ESC go out on my Kagama limited edition. But the truth is like, there's a lot of things on Team Corrali cars that you don't have to upgrade in order to make them last. Outdrives is number one. You don't have to put upgraded outdrives on these cars. You know, think about the time and money that it's gonna take to take the diffs out, take them apart, put an upgraded outdrive, put it all back together, put it back in the car, then run it. You know, and what about if it breaks or something breaks? Now you gotta buy the special part, not the stock part. So, you know, outdrives is one of them, input cups is another, arms and dog bones and CVDs and all the drivetrain components are another one. You know, with my Kagama, I had an issue with the rear diff, and I truly think that's because I'm running a bigger motor. It has more torque, because on the ASUGA, on the Kagama 4, and on my Spark, I have had zero issues with diffs. It's only on my Kagama XP6 that I've had issues with the rear diffs, and I really think that's just down to the fact that I'm running a more powerful system, and that diff just won't take it, you know. But in all reality, none of my Armas have stock diffs in them either. So they all have RC all-wheel drive diffs in them. So anyway, I just really am a fan of the ASUGA. I think this car flies under the radar. I think a lot of people don't appreciate what this platform is capable of, and don't appreciate how durable it is. And I think it's oddly not as popular as I would think it would be, especially with how critical RC bashers tend to be. So that's my 2 cents on the ASUGA. That's pretty much everything that was in it. Oh, you know, if you're curious, I have 90 weight oil on the front and rear shocks. They are equipped with ZRS pistons from M2C. And the diff fluids are what I normally run previously, which is 500K in the center diff, 100K in the front diff, and 60K in the rear diff. So 100K, 500K, and 60K. But yeah, now this thing is in need of a refresh. I haven't cleaned it, and that's the reason why, because I'm gonna take this whole thing apart, replace anything that's wrong with it, put all new plastics, redo all the bolts, double side tape everything, because like my receiver box unglued itself. I'm gonna probably put an aluminum Ackerman assembly in it, and I'll probably get that from Eric Van Ravenstein, and just refresh the whole thing, and then bring it back out and send it again. So that's the plans on this one. And once again, I think after this will be the fully ADU built Kagama, which you guys have seen before, but I'm gonna go ahead and send it again, show you guys what's in that one. Because that one actually has Arma diffs in it with Team Corrali out drives. So that was kind of an experiment I ran. It lasted a very, very long time. So I'm ready to send it again, put it on video, talk about what I did to it, how I did it, and how long it lasted. So stay tuned for that. Big Red is on the way as well. The Typhon speed runs are also on the way. I've pretty much gotten all my speed runs in, but I have one thing I want to do with it before I make the video on it. And that's pretty much it. So thank you guys again for subscribing, and thanks to all who watch. My numbers keep going up, and man, I tell you what, it's exciting. It gives you a little bit of sense of imposter syndrome, if I'm honest, but you know what? I'm glad that it's growing. I'm excited. I'm thankful. Also to my wife, who for a lot of the stuff that you guys see, whether it's the shorts or the long form, wouldn't even exist if there wasn't someone else there helping me capture these moments. So once again, thank you guys. I'll see you guys next Friday. Stay tuned. Keep on bashing.